For the Rubric project, this is a little bit different because normally I'm the one interviewing other people, but this time John Nustad is interviewing me. Take it away, John.
Yes, well, I appreciate you, Robert, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you about your new book, Shiteration, and kind of elaborate on what that is, and so that's interesting to see where we're at.
Most people, when they see it, they think it's about shit. And it's not that it's not about shit, but it's really more about the iteration. That's the part that I'm trying to deliver through shit-colored glasses, you might say. I have a lot of friends who are in business and different stages of business. And so sometimes they'll be at the beginning of a business, they'll be in the middle, they'll be in a partnership, all kinds of different things. And what I noticed about it was I kept interacting with them and really just trying to give the benefit of any experience I've had, because I've been there in some of those ways. I've been a partner, I've been a member of a big company, I've been in small companies, but it kind of all comes from a desire to help. I kept thinking to myself, I really need a book to go with this curriculum. I really need to be able to say, here, just read this book, and then we'll sit down and talk about what to do to help you make progress and improve. If I'm gonna explain this 7 or 8 times to different people, I might as well write it down. Well, if I'm gonna write it down, I might as well put it in a book, because I can't remember it all. I can't sit down and spit it all out in one session. And so I thought, well, if I write it down and I organize it, that'll be fine.
So there was multiple iterations.
Absolutely. Yeah, the third one was an art book, the first 2 were kung fu books, but the 4th one was shit. And that's when I knew I found my voice, because the shit jokes, you know, once you go down the shit joke path, it just gets easier. It just sort of flows. It's like gravity just pulls it right out of you. You don't even have to work that hard. It's just, it's a gift. So all my life I've made fun of things and I've poked fun at things, and I've always felt like if you couldn't joke about something, you probably didn't understand it that well. And so, you know, that's kind of where a lot of this attitude comes from. If I can tell a joke about it, I must kind of understand it. And at the very least, when you need to be able to laugh at yourself. You need to be able to say, great job, dumbass, and then laugh, and then say, all right, if it's the 3rd time, what if we learn? What if we learn from this and quit this up in this way? I want to it up in new ways. I want a new way to this up. And so that's part of what it comes down to.
How did you get the name? Because I think the name Shiteration is genius. It's very memorable. It's something that plays on the iteration word. It plays on the self-deprecating humor as well. And I just think it's something that we'll find ourselves in our word bank that we'll keep because it's so memorable on that. So how did you land on that word?
Well, it started with shit happens and iteration. And part of the problem is when I would tell people, friends of mine, when I would say, well, you need to iterate on that, a lot of times they would say, well, what's that word you use? What's that word you use? And they would say that. And so I thought, well, everybody remembers shit happens. They don't have any problem remembering that. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, I've already got 2 of the letters, so I'm just going to complete it and make it Shiteration.
Why is the book so short?
I wrote this book 6 times, and it was actually a lot bigger the first few times. It was more like 200 pages. But every time I wrote it, I took things out, and I tweaked it, and I trimmed it, and I made it leaner and leaner. There's probably 100 pages of stuff that didn't make the cut. Because it's not that it was out of place. but it didn't make it better. And so part of the discipline I was trying to follow was, if it doesn't make it better, it makes it worse. I wanted to take away objections. I don't use words you can't understand. I don't make it so thick that you can't get through it. I don't talk down to you. I don't cut you slack. I don't sugarcoat it. But at the end of the day, it's a message of positivity. It's a message that shit can happen and you can figure it out. You can be in charge of your shit. And people need to hear that. But they're not going to dig it out of a 500-page book.
I thought it was interesting. The longest thing you have in the book is the table of contents. And it goes to you being Robert about being the most efficient, because whatever it was that you wanted to find, you can find it quickly by going to the table of contents, so you can get there fast.
Right. Yeah, I got grief about that because it's got a lot of sections, even though it's not a huge book.
Yeah.
It has more sections than pages, probably.
You kind of talked about who the book is for, how it came about. Who is this book not for?
Well, it's not for people who get distracted by the language. If the language distracts you, you don't have to read it. There's plenty of books with big words and lots of pages. There's tons of books out there for those folks. It's perfectly fine. They don't have to read this one. And probably they already have a bunch of books. The person who shouldn't read this book is the person who only ever messes up once. If they learn after the first time and they got it, they don't need this book. They're great. Now, for all the people who aren't perfect, this is a great book for you. If you're in business, you deal with shit all the time, something always breaking. If you're in education, God help you, you deal with bullshit every day from every direction. If you're a parent, every parent deals with shit, literally. That's part of the job. So, but yeah, if you don't have any of that to deal with, don't bother reading it, because it's not for people that don't want to improve. I appreciate you sitting down with me today.
Yeah, honored to. Very excited about this, and I think that, like I said, it's a great book. And the fact that you say it's basically for anybody who makes mistakes, which means it's all of us, right? We could all benefit from the book, as long as we don't get distracted by the cursing, right? But
Right.
That way it sticks. That way it lands. That way it's authentic. That way it's not, I'm not talking to you from any sort of pulpit, I'm down there in it with you, talking to you in that way. And so it's a great book. I highly recommend anybody to read it, and I've enjoyed reading it. And like you said, you can read it, real quick, and everybody can hopefully benefit from it. So I appreciate you, Robert. Appreciate your friendship. Enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
Well, awesome.